Okay. Welcome everyone, this is the Quality of Life and Infrastructure Committee. Today is November 24th. We're starting a little late, my apologies on that. I am here, I'm Scott Harrington, Council Member Moser Campoli,
I'm here.
Council Member Walsh Russo.
Here.
Did everybody get a chance to look at October 1st and October 27th
Yes.
meetings? Any
Yeah.
changes, corrections, everything looks good?
They look fine to me.
All right, we'll pass that by
Looks good.
acclamation. Well, we're going right along. All right, topic one, parking regulations on Market Street, South Main Street to James Jorgensen Ave.
So, we had the owner of Rose Auto, formerly Rose Auto, now Fisher Auto, approach me regarding parking across the street from their location at 70 Market. They have deliveries that occur between 8 PM and 1 AM in the morning. And when there are cars parked out there in that time frame, they cannot back their semi-trailer into their, area there. So they have requested that we issue a no parking anytime between 8 PM and 1 AM, Monday through Friday.
8 PM to what?
8 PM to 1 AM, Monday through Friday,
Monday through Friday, and the reason being because of deliveries?
because of deliveries. They're unable to get their semi-trailer back into that area. We spoke with the landowner at 70 Market, both Greg and I separately, and she didn't seem to have an issue with it. At least when I spoke with her, Greg, I don't know what she said to you.
Same, she didn't express any concerns or about the amount of parking available for their residents. They have a parking lot behind the building, so I think they're satisfied with that.
Okay.
The parking there, Chris, right, is a 24-hour max now, is how it's signed.
That's correct.
This is also the area where the driver tests are conducted, although we would like to work with them still to move that and have that start in Demaski Field parking lot in the future, but we haven't been able to connect with the DMV folks to do that yet.
So what if it was just for devil's advocate, what if we just did like no overnight parking?
Yeah.
Like,
Fine by me.
Yeah.
Overnight, we'd have to define certain times.
right, I mean like from like, say,
8,
8 to
8
5.
to 6?
okay with me.
Mhm.
They were just looking for 8 to 1, so 8 to 6 is fine.
We can do anything. I think the other areas downtown are typically, is it midnight to 6 or, no, it's 2 a.m. No, it might only be 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. or is it 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Main Street? I've got the map.
It's either midnight to 6 or 2 to 6.
2 to 6.
Myself.
I mean, because the difference is they're asking for 8 because of the tractor trailers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of hard to keep this one in conjunction with what we've been trying to do.
It is, but even if we can keep the other end of it, the 6 a.m. piece, kind of consistent with other, that might make it at least a little easier on that
Sure.
end of, the regulation enforcement.
I think he's just looking up the
I
times.
think so.
Want me to play the Jeopardy theme?
Yes. Loads. No luck. It's not loading.
No, that's all right. We'll
If it
just,
does, I'll let you know.
that's all right.
I think it's 6 a.m. is when it ends. So you would want to make it 8 p.m. to 6
6
a.m. no
a.m.
parking.
Kind of it makes it a little bit more in line with what we've been doing. I know the 8's the oddball out, but I mean,
It
can't help
sounds
the
like-
delivery times. That's, Councilmember Campoli, Moser Campoli, you on board with that?
No, that sounds like a good solution to me.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. So do your
Okay.
magic you do and bring it up in the council with the appropriate code change. Form,
282.
yeah. All I can remember is like Form 90 for some reason. I have no idea where that even came from. So. All right. Next topic, Market Street parking lot, parking time limits.
So we had talked about this, I think, the last meeting a little bit, so here's an option to consider, we can discuss, that's printed out in map form. 115 spaces in the lot total. There are 12 EV charging spaces that would have to be signed as such, and there are 6 handicap parking spaces, one of which is an EV charging space. We'd suggest consider the row along the Water Street retaining wall, which is 26 spaces, could be signed as 24-hour max parking, with the rest of the lot at 4-hour max parking. But certainly open to input from the committee. Obviously it's just a matter of a few signs. We can always change this, iterate in the future if we see there's a need for something different. If paid parking's implemented, that changes things altogether. But this might be something that we could start with.
Why is there one lone AV parking spot?
That's the handicap. It's hard to see the symbol.
Oh, there's a symbol there?
Yeah,
If you- if
it's
you
underneath
look
the blue highlight.
On the other side, the one that's labeled 9, there's a handicap spot over there, but that one's also the 88 compliance
Yeah.
spot, which is also hard to see.
Yeah,
There's
Okay.
none in that back row though, right?
right, because it's furthest from.
Yeah, because that's
an
what I was
accessible
thinking.
route.
I know that that's the 24-hour, but I was thinking that that was the reasoning. Thank you for
Yeah,
confirming.
the EV handicap space, we want to get as close as possible to the stair tower and elevator tower.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's down there separate from the rest of them. And the rest of them, we didn't want to put all the EV spaces in the prime spaces closest to the stair tower, since we just didn't want to do that. And then we had that one other handicap space in the southwest corner to be closer to the Market Street
Mhm.
access.
So I had a question about the number. Is that number 12 for the EV, is that mandated by the state? That's just,
Well, it is now, because
Yeah.
we've accepted funding for it.
right.
So we have to
Okay.
have those.
So they're required to be, the 12 is the
Yeah,
magic number.
that's what we paid for, and that's what we
Uh-huh.
get funding for.
Okay.
Yeah, unless we were to fund them a different way.
That's right.
But at this point,
Right.
we're kind of past that.
Okay.
Okay.
So just to clarify that, the number there that's specified,
Yeah.
there's no wiggle room. Yeah.
And this seems to be in line with what we talked about
Yeah,
last
it
time.
does. I
So
was
I'm
just
checking my
checking.
notes to make sure
Yes,
that there's nothing
it-
that I
it
forgot.
reverberates
And,
from my knowledge.
yeah,
of
no,
the
I'm seeing what
discussion.
we talked about was the 4-hour and then the 24-hour max. Are we still thinking of having spots for longer term, or is that still in the works?
I think we talked about another step,
Okay,
not too
that would
distant
be it.
future, would be like residential parking permits, where
Yeah.
we might change how we do things, but in this scenario, there are already signs there for the handicap accessible only parking
Okay.
spaces. There are no time limit signs. DPW would install those. We could put a few in the back wall indicating the 24-hour max, and potentially if there's a good spot to put one at the entrance, say entire lot 4-hour max, unless otherwise noted. So there wouldn't be a lot of signs to install,
Okay.
and it would just be a matter of swapping them out if we change in the future.
So you wanna bring this up in front of council, is that our next step, or you're not there yet, or?
Yeah, we would bring it to council for, just to change the code so it's enforceable.
And as these are currently designed, there's no paid parking. This is just the 4-hour limit with the consequence being a ticket.
Right.
Are we still doing like, the trailways, if somebody can get a thing to put on their windshield or whatever?
Yeah, that's what I was just asking about.
Yeah, the agreement that the council approved with Trailways, I forget exactly how many, I don't have that open. But we agreed to provide a certain number of spaces to them, or tickets to them to, be able to leave cars parked longer term. So there would be some sort of a note they would put in the window, and we would direct them as to where they could park. Probably in the long-term spaces. And I think beyond that, they would have to comply with the signage. But usually there's not more than a handful. A handful would be a lot at any given time.
Right.
So parking riders,
Yeah.
usually they're
I was curious
arriving
about
here
that.
and taking OBT somewhere.
Right.
Or picking up.
Yeah, I was curious. I know we had a discussion last time about the regularity of having spaces available, if it really, if there is a need for overnight for people using the bus.
Yeah, I'm good. I think this is a good start. I think I feel comfortable trying this out. And then as we need to modify things like we normally do, we'll modify stuff.
Yeah.
In terms of, yeah, paid for.
So we are looking at having OPT operating out of the new hub as of December 1st, next week. And we could open up the parking lot as soon as this weekend, possibly even Wednesday. I'm not sure when we'd have the signage installed. However, I understand with Small Business Saturday coming this weekend, we want to try to encourage, allow downtown shopping to happen unimpeded. If the council wants us to try to move forward with opening the lot up, even if there isn't the appropriate signage to be enforcing anything yet, as long as we have the ability to open the stair and elevator tower, it's just a matter of, I think, the paperwork being finalized on the CO, then we would try to do that, basically. We'll open it as soon as we can, if that's what you'd like us to do. It might even be before we have the signage up to allow people to park there. And a few days later, we'd have the council approval, and we'd have, I don't know if there's any take safe required, because we'd be mounting to the wall, so it's just a matter of getting the signs made and mounting.
I'm all right with that. I just think once we get the signage up, we should have a grace period where we pepper the parking lot with people parking to make sure that they realize what the times are once we get the signage up. Before we start going and writing tickets,
Okay.
And it sounds,
I just-
it sounds like the stairwell is gonna be ready too then, when that's open?
Yeah, I didn't get a
Great.
chance to confirm
Okay.
today or discuss with Gino and Chris, but we'll confirm if the certificate of occupancy has been issued yet.
On
That's
Saturday,
what they
the,
said,
on Saturday, the, is that the 28th?
8th or 9th?
Is supposedly the shop small,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 29th.
29th.
Small business Saturday.
Small business Saturday, yeah, so maybe having these spots available to people might be useful,
Yeah, that was our hope.
yeah.
And then there's the tree lighting is next Thursday or Saturday?
Saturday.
The 6th.
yeah. I'm a week ahead of everything. How'd that happen? I was like, no, that's this Thursday. I'm a week early. Don't listen to me. Yeah, I think that's great. I think it's a good shot. Good.
Yep.
Yep,
I think you got your
let's go for it.
282. See, I got that one right this time, Chris. Alright. So the next one is watershed logging. And after conversations with Greg, kind of confused why we're back here with this after the council did their straw vote of we're going forward and with the contract. I think if there's anything further, if we want to change how we do things, I don't think, because we're going forward with this contract, it needs to be done for the next time we do our resource stuff. So, I don't know what, our city staff has kind of discussed it, they talked to us, they brought a plan forward, the council's voted on it. Now that the council voted on it, we took it back up and kind of said, no, stay the course. So I don't know what your guys' feeling is.
Yeah, I think whatever we do with this is gonna be, in the creation of a forest management plan, for future contract decisions.
I would like their city staff to work with our environmental board on drawing up what that might look like, and then it can come back in front of us. But that would have to be for future projects, that wouldn't be for this project. And then, until this project's done, I'm gonna gonna stay the course where our city staff has recommended, that we keep everything closed until they're done with the project. So,
And also that we have a process that we follow
Yeah.
as a council that makes the process as transparent as possible.
And I know, Chris is here tonight, and Chris wasn't able to join us, at the last meeting. And Chris, I really appreciated the answers that you gave to the Daily Star that kind of explained, our current approach to logging. And I was hoping that you could give us just a brief overview of what that looks like, to address some of the points that have come up in the current conversation.
I didn't bring the list with me, I don't know if you
Yeah.
got a hand or not, Craig, but, basically, the timber harvest in the watershed, the watershed had been managed for timber harvest since the establishment of the Wilbur Lake. As I mentioned before, there are, multiple facilities in the city that have been constructed from timber, that have been sawn, from the, timber in the watershed. There was actually a crew, thank you, there was actually a crew that the city had that planted trees and harvested trees and sawn the lumber, from the, watershed, from the get-go. Obviously, there isn't a crew that does that now, but, there have been multiple timber harvests over the years. Before this timber harvest, in fact, this timber harvest has been taking place since 2023, Greg? This is timber harvest number 5 that we're doing. I think we have one more left. And that will conclude the timber harvest for the watershed for the next 10 to 15 years. We did a bathymetric survey of the Wilbur Lake last fall, and determined that the volume of Wilbur Lake has not changed since the last bathymetric survey, which was in the 70s, Greg?
I think it was,
Ish.
yeah, decades.
So, 50 years and no change in the water storage of Wilbur Lake. At the water treatment plant, we test for turbidity and organics in our water, and there's been no noticeable change since the harvest has been taking place. So everyone's concerned about water quality as far as drinking water goes. There has been no effect that we have seen from the data that we collect on a daily basis. Trails, I think I mentioned the trails were installed without approval from the city. They were installed through trespass. It was only recently that the trail had opened up in this past May, June of this year. The city was never allowed input on where the trails were gonna go, how the trails were gonna be maintained, how many trails there were gonna be, how many miles the trails would be. It was never discussed with the city. Just wanna make that point. And then, I think the other point I made is that the money from the timber harvest is used, put in account for removal of hazardous trees throughout the city, planting of trees throughout the city, at a cost of between $50,000 and $100,000 a year. Timber harvest we have out right now for our 2025 timber harvest, we have roughly something like 120 trees that need to come down because of various issues, decay, disease. One thing that has been affecting us a lot is the emerald ash borer and the ash trees, so we have a significant number of ash trees that need to come down because of that. And we try to plant at least 25 trees a year. We found that to be manageable because we've got to water the trees for 2 years in a row. So that's watering 50 trees through the summer months every year, and that's about the max we can do. So we got we've been taking down a lot of trees in the last couple of years in the city, and hopefully that now that we're catching up with the diseased trees and the dying trees, that now we can hopefully catch up with our replacements through the years.
Yeah, so this is all part of our tree management plan that we currently have, right? Because actually, I just remembered too, I got an email from a constituent today asking about the tree guy who was measuring trees on Sand Street, I think it was. Is that part of that?
So
Plan?
some of that, yes, so some of the money
Okay.
that, from the tree timber harvest was used to hire Davies Tree Service, I
Okay.
believe. They're doing a complete inventory of all the city trees on city right of way and on city property. That's currently underway. So.
Not in the watershed area though, just to be
Not the watershed, no.
In the city.
But in the city, in the city, right? Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Because the watershed I know is city land that's in the town,
Yes.
just for clarification.
Only city.
Yeah, okay.
In the city boundaries.
Right. All right, and what'd you say, I'm sorry, you said it's an evaluation that they're doing of the trees, or a
It's,
survey?
identification
Okay.
of existing trees. It's, basically giving us the height of the tree, the diameter of the tree species. They're also recommending if the tree needs to come down, if it's diseased
Okay,
or dying, and they're also identifying, potential future tree planting sites.
Some of the trees that have been picked are dying up there, correct?
There are trees that they are taking down that are, some are called cull trees.
Mhm.
They're hollow in the middle, they're dying, they fall over, or the ash trees, they're hitting all the ash trees because of the emerald ash borer.
And I know one of the trees that we're discussing up by the cemetery,
yeah,
Daimler is actually there, is actually that, is it's a dead tree that's gonna come down, and they wanna get it down before it hurts the grade markers that are there. Mike, stop, please.
That's rude.
You can leave,
yeah.
I don't need to listen to you either,
Thank you.
Totally inappropriate.
okay?
Where do we?
I'm a member of the public.
I don't
Will the
care.
public
All right,
have a
this
chance
meeting's
to speak?
closed.
Thank you.
Will the public have a chance to speak?
I just
Has
closed
there
the
any
meeting.
public input on these processes?
There is